bit of good news on the economy. A new survey showing the recovery is spreading across the nation. Of course, if you don't have a job, it's not much of a recovery. So where are the jobs? Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke says it's going to take a little longer. We're joined now by Rich DeSalvo. He's a consultant and author of The Power of Pain. And is Rich able to be with us? Okay, we're putting his mic on. We're having a little delay. Maybe Rich was caught in traffic. All right, we're going to, you know what, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about this with Rich. Whether or not there is a recovery, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it happening too slow? We're going to discuss this.
I definitely want to hear about it. Okay.
Stay tuned. All righty, let's try this again. Rich DeSalvo has been standing by patiently. He had a little microphone trouble. Yes. Thank you very much for staying with us, Rich. We're talking about a new survey showing the recovery is starting to happen. We'll talk about whether it's actually happening, whether it's happening fast enough. But also, you know, so many people are still out of jobs. And so they're saying, what kind of recovery are we talking about here? So let's start here. Okay. The recovery is happening, yes?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's fool's gold out there.
All right, explain.
Here's what I mean. Right now, you're at 9.7% unemployment rate. That's no sign of a recovery. In fact, what you're seeing happening right now, or people have said, they've used the word recovery, it's really just upticks. Really, said differently, it's emotional spending going on. What you've had since 2008 and the economic mess going on, Julia, is really something like this. Time has passed. And since time has passed, people are now becoming more comfortable with uncertainty, and businesses are able to manage to that now. So they're spending a little bit.
So there's a whole psychological aspect that we could get into. But where are we seeing the growth? Where are we seeing you mentioned emotional spending. Where are we seeing that, and where are we not seeing it that we should be seeing it?
Well, where you're seeing it in businesses that relative to inventory, that's where you're seeing them buying things, where they've actually been buying more on demand than collecting inventories. Where you're not seeing it is where you need to see, which is really in consumer spending. Specifically, here's what's happening. Imagine this. There's countries out there like France, Germany, China, Japan. They're not spending money. And actually what's happening is worse than inflation is deflation. And if our country is not careful, our American consumers right now are not spending, we could be in that same problem.
We're seeing some growth though, Rich, retail sales and tourism, but you did mention it's emotional spending. I mean, are we just not seeing enough? We're seeing a little bit of movement there, but we're just not seeing enough, is what you're saying?
No, that's right. It's not going to be enough to make a difference. I'll use the analogy. If you look at the $787 million stimulus that we had, right? There was some element of that was tax cuts, but it just wasn't enough. And it's the same type of thing where a little bit doesn't really define a recovery or even create a trend line at that point.
Is it dangerous then to call this a recovery?
Yes, it is. It is, because even more important, yes. Let me answer that first way.
Okay, yes, period.
Okay, yes, period.
And then start, yes,
okay.
New paragraph.
All right, new paragraph. Now what you're going to see is the unemployment rate's going to stay where it is for a long time. And the reason is employers have three problems right now, or three things they're going to do before they even hire new people.
Okay.
They're going to pay more in overtime. They're going to give the 4-day work week and reduce their paychecks up to 20%. And the third thing they're going to do is they'll take a current employee and work the heck out of them.
And current employees don't like to have the heck worked out of them. They would rather you hire somebody else and help them out. Although people do like to make the overtime wages. Are these employers doing the wrong thing though?
No, they need to do what they need to do to survive. However, you will find right now they've done a very good job, and today there's over $1 trillion sitting in corporate cash. So they're ready to spend. It just hasn't happened yet. So they just need time. They need to manage to uncertainty like I talked about.
Right.
So it's coming, but you're going to see probably not until the end of 2011 when people when the dysfunctional becomes functional. That's not what
That's not what the people who are unemployed, who are sitting out watching this right now, want to hear.
No.
There's nothing that can be done. There's nothing that the government's doing wrong. There's nothing that employers are doing wrong, employees are doing wrong that can change the tide on this?
Yes, there is. And I'll tell you what's interesting. But most people today, when they leave their job, they immediately think, I have to go find another job of the same category. That's not necessarily true. There's people that are very talented out there. They get caught in their own comfort zone of their employment. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. Their skill set is portable. They're smart people. They need to really get out of their comfort zone of where they're currently employed or the type of work that they do.
All right, Rich DeSalvo, thank you very much for sticking around and bearing through the microphone problems. We appreciate it.
You
Good seeing you.
Okay, bye now.
All right, let's turn now to the rescue of Abby Sunderland.